Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today, I'm going to be doing my review of the Masters of the Universe New Eternia figure Roboto by Mattel. Now, I'm kind of excited about this guy because, you know, he looked cool in all the pictures I saw, but now that I look at him in the packaging through the window, he looks really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to actually taking a real good look at this figure. So, with that being said, first off, I want to thank everybody who's subscribed. You're very much appreciated. And for any of those who do watch this and likes this video and hasn't subscribed yet, can I please ask that you subscribe as well and check out my Masters of the Universe playlist. So, without any further ado, let's get to the review. All right, so here he is in packaging. I love the packaging for this figure, okay? So, right off the cuff, you got this nice open window here. I really do like that. Spin it this way a little bit here. You got the Roboto logo. All right, get some of that gloss off of the art. I love the artwork to this. The art looks really cool. That's the one thing about these Masters of the Universe figures is 9 out of 10 times you're going to get some really good art on the packaging for these guys. So I really do like this picture of him. Got Masters of the Universe, New Eternia. All right. As you see, the art moves around the box. You got Skeletor behind him. And it looks like he's taking out some sort of rock guys, which is pretty cool. Oops. Get that glare off there. All right. Spin him around here. All right. You got a nice picture of the figure. Quick look at his accessories in play. You get a headshot here, a little bit about him, and then you get the other figures that are part of this wave. All right, spin it around this way. You get a nice headshot of him and a profile picture, which looks really cool. I really do dig that. All right, bring him around here. You got your Masterverse. All right, and then on top, you got your 30 points of articulation, age restriction, Mattel, and then underneath you got your skew and legal. So, that being said, eventually, let's open him up and see what he's about. Okay, so here he is out of packaging. Now, the first thing we're going to do is go through his points of articulation. All right. So first off, the head does move. Okay. Got a shoulder joint with the swivel. You got elbow joint. And you do have a wrist joint. All right. Keep that arm up. Swivel around here. Centered again. All right. You do have a thigh joint with a swivel. And you have a knee joint. Oh, man, that's a little tight, but it does move. You also have a swivel at the top of the boot and an ankle joint. Okay. Now, when you get into his body, he doesn't have much movement there. So, get this other arm up. You do have a joint right here, which would be like a hip joint. But you don't have that usual joint like right up in here, which is part of torso. And that's mainly because of his gears and stuff. So, that being said, I just want to say this is an awesome looking figure. I love the overall look to him. So, we're going to take a closer look at his finer details. Now, normally I start off with the head, and we're going to do that. But first, we're going to look at this two ways. So, you got this jaw piece on here, all right? And that's interchangeable. It doesn't move like the original one did. So, there's no real movement in there, just a little bit. So, you can get somewhat of a gap. All right? But, now here's the cool part. Watch this. Get this thing off of here. All right, take this jaw piece off. The other side off. There we go. Now look at this head sculpt. So if you look underneath, you get this like skeletal jaw under there that looks really cool. So his whole headpiece is translucent, other than the original versions of him where it's like a solid gray with a blue visor. This whole thing is translucent, so you can see this skull in here that looks really cool. Spinning around to this side, you can see like it almost looks like a motor engine inside there that looks really neat. All right, and then you come to this side, you can see the whole setup in there again. So the head is really awesome. I love what they did with this head. It looks really cool. So now that we're done looking at the head, you can see inside the body, you can see all the gears, nuts, and bolts that, move and what have you. So when you spin the disc, we might as well just look at this now. You can see those gears moving in there. All right. When you get into the lower part of his body, it's pretty much standard Roboto. The orange legs with the silver pieces and then the silver boots. Bring them around this way. You can see the detailing more in his legs and what have you. And even in his arms. So when I bring this arm down, they add like these hoses and stuff to it, which brings him a little bit more detail. And his arm is more of a metallic blue opposed to just a standard gloss blue. So I do like that a lot. Bring them around to the back. You have this piece here, which makes the gears move, as you saw earlier. And then everything else is pretty much basic there. Bring it around to this side. Basically the same as the other side. You can also see the gears and springs and stuff inside his arm too. So that's pretty wild. So I think they put a lot of thought into designing this guy because they just did a lot of really cool stuff with him that looks really neat, especially with the head sculpt. So now we're going to start looking at his accessories. So first off, he comes with two jaw shields. So you have the one that you saw earlier. That's a better look at it. You have a red one here. Okay. You have 3 arm attachments. So you have like this windmill blade piece. The original one, this was just a solid 2-headed blade that was like this. But with this one, they decided to give it, like I said, this kind of windmill treatment so you can spin it. All right, he has a claw, which does have a hinge that moves. All right. And then he also has a cannon. Actually, the way that's set up, you can almost say that's a flamethrower, but I know it's supposed to be some sort of laser cannon. But so that's pretty neat. So let's see how well all this works. So we earlier saw the purple jaw, so let's take a look and see how the red jaw works on them. All right. Now these things are a little bit of a bugger to get on and off. Or at least the other one was. This one might be a little bit easier. All right. So that one kind of just pops in there just like that. You don't really get that open and shut movement like you did with the original figure. You get a little bit of it, but not much. I think I kind of like this one better than the other one because you can see that, robotic skeletal jaw a little bit better. So I kind of like that. But, whatever one's your preference, this one I'm kind of digging. So now let's see how well his extension arms work. Now you could probably use them on both sides. I know traditionally the original Roboto, it was just one-sided. But with these ones, you could probably swap them out to either side. So, all right. So there's the cannon. All right. Now the original version of him had a double barrel laser gun. Where this version, they kind of went more with like I said, a large blaster type thing. All right. Now let's see if these things will work with the other side, which I know they would, but still, just, for those who want to, there we go, use both sides so you can have the hands on either side, which is pretty neat. All right. And then last but not least, you have the windmill axe. All right. There you go. So that goes on just like that. I didn't have any issues putting that on either. So everything seems to work pretty well with this figure. I don't have any issues with any of his accessories. So let's get into my final thoughts with this figure. So overall, his joints all move very well. I don't have any issue with any of his joints. Um, all his weapons and hands swap out very good, and jaw swap out very good. I do like that. And the overall look to him is pretty cool. I do like the overall look to him, especially this alternate head. I like this clear dome look where you can see everything inside of there. I think that's really neat. And just his overall look looks really cool. I think he's a really cool looking figure. A couple of things me personally would have liked to have seen come with this figure. I think I would have liked to have seen a second head come with him. One that has the actual gray dome like the original figure. So you could have the clear version and you can also have the gray version as well. So if you wanted to display them either way, I think that would have been nice. And I wasn't too big of a fan of the spinning axe. I kind of like a more solid axe, but that's more of a personal thing than a knock against the figure. So those would be two things that I would probably want to do different with this figure. But the question is, would I recommend this figure? Absolutely. I think he's really cool looking. I think he's a great addition to your new Eternia figures, and I would recommend him. So, with that being said, I hope you all did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my Masters of the Universe playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So, until the next one, late.